Howdy y'all, Matt here. It's that time of year in Central Texas. It's fall, which means a couple of things. One, it means that Texans are getting a much needed reprieve from the brutal heat of summer that we've endured over the past several months. Two, it means that we're starting to think about Thanksgiving, which is one of my personal favorite holidays of the year. This is one of those days that you get to sit around the table in front of an amazing meal, surrounded by family and friends, celebrating what God has done in our lives over the past year. And at Freedom Poultry, one of the things we love to do is to smoke our Thanksgiving turkey. So I'm gonna show you step by step how you can smoke your own Thanksgiving bird and have an amazing meal for your family to celebrate with. Come on, let's get started. The first thing that you're gonna wanna do is take the wishbone out of the turkey. You're gonna take just a simple little paring knife and you're gonna reach inside the neck of the turkey, right at the top of the breast, and you're gonna you can feel the wishbone on each side. And what you're gonna wanna do is take your knife and very carefully insert it above the wishbone and cut up the wishbone into the breast, and then go back and cut underneath it as well. Again, be careful not to cut your fingers. And you slide the knife up there on each side, and you're gonna have to cut at the top to release the bone from the breast. There we go. Once you get the edges of the wishbone freed up, you can get your finger in there underneath the wishbone, and then what you'll have to do is take your knife and slide underneath the wishbone, again being careful not to cut yourself, and you can cut and it will free it from the turkey. And that will release the top of the wishbone, and then you can simply pull it out. And that's it. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna take a serrated knife. This is actually a bread knife, believe it or not, but a big serrated knife, and you're gonna flip your turkey over and you're gonna cut down the backbone of the turkey. Cut directly down the backbone and split it in half. If you have a bone saw for meat, that actually works really, really well. But you're gonna start cutting here all the way down the back of the turkey, and then I'll show you, you're gonna split it open. So let's go ahead and get started on that. All right, and all the way through. So this is called spatchcocking your turkey. And this will do a couple of things for you. One, it provides a more even smoke throughout the turkey. So you're gonna open it up and it's going to allow the smoke to contact more of the surface area of the turkey rather than smoking it whole, and then the inside of the turkey doesn't get as much contact with the smoke. So what we do is we open it up, and that provides more even smoke access. The other thing that does is that shortens your cooking time. Your smoking time will be dramatically reduced when you spatchcock your turkey. Once you have it cut, you're going to actually break the breastbone of the turkey. So what I do is I'll come in here, and you can actually even use that big bread knife to cut the top of the breastbone to make it a little bit easier. So come in with that knife, open it up, and just cut the top of that breastbone, and it just splits right open. And so you're gonna fold your turkey open like this, having broken that breastbone down the middle. And open it up just like that. So you'll fold your turkey out like this, and then this is how it will actually be set on to the smoker. And again, what this does is it gives the smoke access to the inside part of the bird, and it will shorten your cooking time. One thing I would suggest is if your turkey does have some fat up here, leave that on there. That's going to provide some nice juices. You want to catch the drippings from the turkey so that you can make a bone broth later. So leave any of the fat inside the turkey that you can. Okay, the next thing we've got to do is we've got to season our turkey. I'm going to put the recipe for the seasoning down in the comments, so make sure you check down there to get that. This is a seasoning that we prefer, but you can season your turkey however you prefer to taste. Now, one thing that you have to know is that on a pasture-raised turkey, there is no brine on the turkey. The turkey has not been treated with any sort of salt or anything like that. So you need to make sure that whatever you do to season your turkey, there's enough salt in there to give that flavor into the meat. That salt helps the flavor penetrate into the meat. So that recipe is also good for one entire turkey. So I start on the underside of my turkey, and I will just start to sprinkle the seasoning on there generously because you want that flavor to kind of be imparted to your turkey. This is a messy process, so make sure that you are careful here. You're gonna get seasoning all over your workspace, so just be okay with that. And again, I like to get it into the crevices there, so that way it makes contact with that meat, imparts all those great flavors to that. Once you're done seasoning the inside of the turkey, you can flip it over and season the top side. The turkey that we're seasoning right now, this was a broad-breasted bronze turkey, and it weighed, the finished weight was about 20.6 pounds. So it's a good-sized turkey, feed a good-sized family, and the smoking time is gonna vary, obviously, depending on the size of your turkey. This one I'm estimating is gonna take somewhere around 6 hours to smoke to completion. Maybe a little bit less, just depending on what our fire temperature is. I do like to let my turkey sit with the seasoning for at least 24 hours before I smoke it. I have gone as long as 3 days, allowing it to sit in refrigeration, but with that dry brine on there. If you've got a little bit extra seasoning, go ahead and roll that turkey back over, and you can dump more on the inside. Okay, so if you have a large chafing dish, that works really nicely to put your turkey in, to be able to put it into the fridge for the next 24 to 48 hours, give or take. And you can cover this with cellophane. Make sure you put your turkey in the fridge covered and let it sit there and let the dry brine do its work. The other thing, if you're getting your turkey from a local farmer, see if you can get the feet with it. And I know that sounds strange, but we do a broth after we've cooked and eaten the turkey that is phenomenal, and the feet add tons of collagen and minerals to the broth that make it much, much healthier than otherwise. All right, once you've gotten your bird wrapped up, go throw it in the fridge and then wait until tomorrow or the next day to smoke it. Now all we've got to do is wait. All right, y'all, so the turkey has been in dry brine overnight, and now it's time to smoke it, and I'm gonna set up my smoker. I am using a traditional stick smoker here behind me. If you have a pellet grill, it's gonna be a lot easier for you. You're just gonna dial in the temperature and then let the thing go. Just keep an eye on it. For the stick smoker, you're gonna have to watch it much more closely to make sure you're maintaining your temperature. One thing I will say is that I prefer to smoke on mesquite wood. I like the flavor that the mesquite imparts to the meat. I will warn you, it is a stronger smoke flavor. A lot of people don't like that. This is what our family prefers. And I will tell you, it will produce a darker skin on your turkey. So don't be surprised when it comes out a little more than golden brown, maybe a darker brown. But it still is fantastic nonetheless. The other thing I like about the mesquite wood is if you're making bone broth after the fact, it makes a really smoky, rich bone broth. So again, if you like that really heavy smoky flavor, go with mesquite. If you prefer something a little bit more mild, you might want to try something like an applewood or cherry. something like that. But I'm gonna get this started. If you're using a stick smoker, you need to set it up and then let it go for about an hour to where you get a good coal bed, a good consistent temperature inside the smoker before you put your turkey on there. You don't wanna start it up and just let it burn, because that's going to cause a lot of high heat, and it's going to begin to char the outside of your turkey, and you don't want to do that. So want a nice even smoke, and let that kind of go throughout the duration. I'm going to be aiming for around 275 degrees. Again, with a stick smoker, you're going to fluctuate. Try not to let it get over 350. Try not to let it get under 200, 225. Again, if you've got a pellet grill, you're just going to dial in that temperature and let it go. So we're going to get this fire started and get this turkey on the smoker soon. Okay, so what I like to do is stack my wood in here and then allow a space for paper to go in to be able to start the actual fire. So I'll take some of my bigger pieces of wood and stick them in there to form a little cavity for where the paper is going to sit, and then you can set your other smaller pieces of wood up on top. I just use old packaging from packages that we've gotten from like Amazon or Thrive Market or something like that, and just tear some and put it in. You're probably gonna have to do this a couple of times to get it started. I don't like any of those harsh chemicals or anything, fire starter, lighter fluid, anything like that. So throw a couple of these in there, and that should be enough to get it started. And then you just come in and you take your other pieces, smaller pieces of wood, put them up on top, and then just feed the fire as it gets started. I will say, if you've got control over where your smoker is, you want to pull it out of the wind, because the wind makes it harder to smoke, especially if the wind is blowing into your firebox. You're going to go through a whole lot more wood. So getting on the non-windy side of the house is key. It is a pretty windy day today, but I'm fairly sheltered over here. I'm going to get a little bit of wind through, but not a ton. The other thing I like to do is I smoke with the door open, and it just allows a good draft of air going through there. What that does is it creates a cleaner smoke. You don't want a bunch of heavy, thick white smoke. You almost want a clear blue smoke, and that's going to provide a cleaner smoke throughout the duration of the cook. Here's a great example of the smoke that you want. Kind of a clear, almost a bluish smoke coming out. And I've still got the firebox open by about, 4 or 5 inches. And so the heat's coming right through there, and the smoke's coming out nice and clear. That's a good cook right there. So we've got a pretty good fire going in the firebox right now, and it's maintaining a consistent temperature inside the smoker housing. So it's about time to put the turkey on there. I'm going to clean off the grates of the grill and put the drip pans in. I use these little disposable foil trays. I put them underneath my grate inside the smoker, and that's going to catch the drippings, and that's going to be some great drippings for either a gravy, or you can put them into your bone broth, which is what we like to do with it. Makes a nice, thick, rich bone broth that's got a lot of really great smoky flavors. The other thing I do to preserve smoker space is I will put the neck and the feet down into one of those pans. Okay, next, it's going to be a bit messy. You're going to take your turkey and you're going to place it on the smoker with the legs pointing towards the fire source. Those legs and thighs can take a lot more heat because they're dark meat without losing their juiciness. So you want to spread your turkey with the legs facing the fire. And remember, since we spatchcocked this bird, we're going to open it up like that, so it's going to basically fold open onto the smoker. All right, so now you just let it smoke. Okay, so I've talked about this before in my videos, but I like to use a temperature probe called the meter at MEATER+. And this is a self-contained probe, and it's got 2 temperature probes in there. One goes inside the turkey. There's a little etched line on the side of the body of the meter, and you have to push it into the meat at least that far, otherwise you risk damaging the probe. And then on the outside there is an ambient temperature probe, and this is going to tell you the temperature of your smoker. This is a very important probe, and this is the one you pay attention to. Again, this is going to tell you that you're at about 275 degrees Fahrenheit inside of your smoker. This connects to your smartphone. I use an app on my iPhone, and it also works on the iPad. Great app, and it will notify you. You can set notifications, and I'll show you some screenshots of that app as well. But we're gonna go ahead and take this probe, and we're gonna insert it into the breast of the turkey. You want it into the deepest part of the turkey so that you can get an accurate reading from the inside. So I like to take it, and I'll put it in from the top. So again, you see the little etched line right there. You need to insert the meter at least to that line. I do not rely on these temperature probes. They are notoriously inaccurate. Unless you've had yours calibrated recently, you're probably not going to get an accurate measurement. So I rely on the probe that's on the meter to tell me what the ambient temperature of the smoker is. All right, so we are 3 hours into the cook, and it is looking tasty. The skin is starting to get golden brown. There's a little bit of skin right in here that still needs to crisp up. I may have to tint it with foil to keep it from getting too crispy or too burnt. I've got, it says I've got about 2 hours left, 2.5 hours left on the cook. So we'll see. Looking good so far. All right, so the skin is getting darker right around here, around the legs. I think I'm gonna go ahead and tint this turkey so that way we don't get that too crispy there. So I'm gonna get some foil, wrap it around that, and hopefully keep it from burning the skin. We got our sweet little Lily from Wing Feather with her whistle harp that we just made her. That's what we're doing for Halloween. All right, y'all, so we've just hit 150 degrees on the meter, and it is time to pull this turkey off of the smoker. It will continue to rise in temperature, but it should not go over 155 degrees. It will continue to rise even after we've pulled it off the smoker. So we're gonna pull this off. If you do have a compromised immune system, you might wanna go ahead and cook it to 165 degrees just to be safe. That's a USDA standard, but 150 degrees for most people is gonna be absolutely acceptable. So we're gonna pull this turkey off the smoker. We're gonna let it rest for about half an hour, and then you can carve it after half an hour's rest. Again, this is a mesquite smoked bird. The skin is gonna be a little bit darker than smoking with like a post oak or pecan or something like that. Okay, so this is directly off the smoker. Again, on the legs here, you've got the dark brown from the mesquite smoke. But that skin should be nice and crispy. All right, guys, we pulled the turkey off the smoker, and this is the final product. We got it up to 153 degrees, but I imagine it may go up another degree or two, but we should be able to keep it under 155. Again, after you pull it off the smoker, it's going to increase in temperature gradually over the next several minutes. You're gonna have about a 25-minute rest period for this turkey before you carve it. Make sure you give it that. If you carve it too soon, all the juices are going to flood out. This turkey took exactly 6 hours from start to finish on the smoke, and I think that my average ambient temperature in the smoker was 240 to 250 degrees. Since I'm using a stick burner, the temperature kind of goes up and down a little bit like a roller coaster, but I think it's going to average out somewhere around 240 to 250 degrees. The last thing I want to show you is we collected the drippings off the turkey, and this is the fat and all of the juices that dripped off the turkey during the cook, and this is going to become part of our bone broth. That's going to add a bunch of flavor and nutrients to that bone broth. I'll probably record a separate video showing you how we make our bone broth. It's going to be delicious. Listen, I hope the smoke on your turkey goes amazingly well, and I hope that you end up with a turkey that you're very pleased with and that you're able to celebrate Thanksgiving with your family, and I hope that you're able to impress them with your culinary skills. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to it. Thanks so much, y'all. We'll see you next time. All right, so one of the fun things to do when you have a turkey is to break the wishbone, and whoever gets the biggest side gets their wish. So, which side do you want? You want that side. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2. Oh! You got the biggest side. What'd you wish for? Did you not make a wish?
I am going.
You're going to. Okay, what is it?
That I found a snake down.
That what?
That I found a snake down when it's not even snake season. Wait.
That you find a snake when it's not even snake season?
Yeah.
All right, that's his wish. Hope it's not a venomous one.